Their parents, the ones who stop the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they might'st feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calmed. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
CPS took my neighbor's kids last week. Here's what I wish she knew beforehand. She had no clue what her rights were and completely panicked. That's exactly what you can't do. The difference between keeping your kids and losing them comes down to being prepared. There's this book, Stay Calm, CPS is Coming, that breaks down everything you need to know. Education isn't just power, it's protection. Grab it on Amazon or check cpsbreakingnews.com. Don't wait until it's your door they're knocking on.
I'm, just your average parent trying to do right by my kids. Never thought I'd have to, deal with something like this. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon. The kids' toys were scattered everywhere. Then there was a knock at the door. My heart sank when I saw who it was.
Hello, I'm from Child Protective Services. We've received a report and need to inspect your home.
I didn't know what to do. They wanted to come in, look around, talk to my kids. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was doing something wrong even though I knew I wasn't. But then, I remembered something I'd read online about knowing your rights. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but unless you have a warrant, I can't let you in." The CPS worker looked surprised. They weren't used to parents knowing their rights. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground. I protected my family's privacy that day. Remember, when CPS knocks, know your rights. It can make all the difference.
We won't stand for corruption. We won't stand for stealing kids. This is the Tiff and the Punisher podcast. Now joined by the angry citizen. This is a powerful trio. Set out to spread the Constitution. This is a powerful trio. Set out to stop the evil CPS.
We won't stand for corruption, and we won't stand for stealing kids. This is the Tiff and the Punisher podcast. Now joined by the angry citizen.
family is the most important thing we have.
It's about time we stand up for the kids.
They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, God damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like dim tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are old Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop it.
Whoa! That's too bright. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check.
Slamming
Yeah.
shit.
Are you? Did my cat go to your house?
I have four here on me.
Four.
Four cats on me, brother.
I've been missing 4 actually, and they're all black and white.
It's a miraculous thing. I don't know where these cats came from. They just magically materialized on me.
The influx. They come from Darren's house.
Yeah, obviously.
Hey, Alicia, Debbie, John, Henry. What's up, everybody? So Dana, tonight. Oh, hey, by the way, your interview last Friday, that was pimp, man. That was really good. Everybody can check
Nice.
it out here. If you want to give a little poke on that, dude, and tell everybody what you did, because that was really, really a cool topic. And I think a lot of people here that didn't see it would be interested in going back and looking at it.
Which interview? What are we
The
talking
one
about, brother?
when you talked about the guy with the voter fraud.
Oh yeah, Dr. Douglas Frank.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was an amazing interview.
yeah. This guy has been to Maine several times at his own expense and asked for nothing more than the courtesy of our attention to bring focus on to what is obviously bullshit shenanigans showing up in our elections. You know, more people voting than were registered in the county.
What do you mean? That's the problem?
Yeah. Honestly, if you look at the majority of the people of we, the people of Maine, most of us agree on the same things. There's very, very, very few people in Maine that don't agree that our education system is in the toilet. Our DHS, the Department of Human Services, in the toilet. We have wildly out of control taxes. We have growing taxes. They're not just the ones that already exist that are strangling us, but more fucking taxes they're trying to put on us.
Yeah, and you know what we need to look out for? So we're gonna have to look out for an influx of taking kids, man. That's unfortunately that's what we're gonna see. That's it. That's what's gonna happen. But Dana, tonight we have a really awesome guest. Tiff and him are much closer. So Tiff, you want to give this man a proper introduction, if you would, please?
Sure. So this is Mr. Ramsey again from the Parental Rights organization. Even though he was on Saturday, for those of you who missed it, I asked him to come back on tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit about what his foundation does, what they're working on, and how to fix CPS. So go ahead and bring him on. There he is.
Mr. Ramey, how are we?
Good. How are you?
We're good. We are real good. We are excellent, considering the day. You're right down the road from Tiff, right?
Yes. Yeah. Winchester, Virginia.
You're a Virginia as well. You know, Tiff and I went to a meeting together over there not too long ago, and wow, Virginia doesn't really. It's not for lovers that are parents, really, huh?
No, not really.
What's up? What's the deal with Virginia and their parents and their parental rights and any of that stuff? What's going on? You want to tell everybody what you do a little bit and how you've attacked that to become on the national level?
Sure. Well, we're a national organization, and we work at the federal level. We work at the state level. We work at local levels. It really depends on where the volunteers are, where the people are who want to make those contacts, and we provide them with model language, answer questions, help them to work with their lawmakers to make changes for the good all across the country. We also work together with lawyers on both sides of the aisle in drafting model legislation that lawmakers can take up wherever they are. I mean, one that we were a part of would do away with anonymous reports to CPS, replace them with confidential. So the system knows they don't reveal who's calling, but they know who's calling. So a lot of those fake calls, those calls that are just to get at somebody, those are going away.
Accountability.
Yes, exactly.
Accountability.
And the amazing thing is, so we were a part of drafting that model, working with some folks, like I say, from across the aisle, the Broad Coalition. And we've seen it passed now by 2 legislatures, one in Texas that got signed into law, and one in New York that is still making its way to the governor's desk. So he hasn't had a chance to sign it yet. But I mean, how many things are there out there where the 2 states that have adopted them, or the 2 legislatures that have passed them, are Texas and New York? That's pretty crazy. And so we're pretty excited by that because, you know, you get it passed in Texas and New York, other states are going to follow, right? Red states will follow Texas, blue states might follow New York. And we can start to get that done across the country because folks know that's a problem. And that's one thing we've been working on. Now, you asked about Virginia, and really the big thing about Virginia for me is it happens to be my home state. So I'm here. So folks in the state who are working on these things reached out to me as well, which I'm grateful for. Love to be part of that discussion. We passed a bill back in 2013 that establishes that parental rights are fundamental, and that when they come before the courts, they're due strict judicial scrutiny, which is the highest level of the law. And so that's great as far as it goes.
Hell
But
yeah.
that's on appeal. That's after you've gone through all the mess. And to get from family courts to that law, it's a long road and an expensive one. So we've been also trying to come behind that with more day-to-day nuts and bolts laws. In the last legislative session, working again across the aisle, we were trying to get a bill in that would just track the number of children in what we call hidden foster care. And what that is where CPS doesn't take your child, but they say, if you don't send your kids to live with grandma or with an aunt and uncle, then we're going to have to take your child. And so it's technically, legally, they call it a voluntary out-of-home placement, but it's coerced, it's threatened.
Coercion.
Yeah, exactly. And so we weren't even asking them to stop it, just to track it. Let's just have the numbers so that we know how many kids are going out of their homes and what are the outcomes of those kids. Because one of the biggest things that happens in that situation is once the children are safely with the aunt and uncle or safely with grandma or whatever it is, right? Then CPS is done. They wipe their hands of it. They never opened a case technically. They never went to court. Parents didn't get any due process. And now they're finished with it. Oh, the kids are safe now. And there's no exit strategy. There's no strategy on here's what you do to get the kids returned home. It's just, okay, well, the kids are now in a safer placement, so we're good, we're done. And that happens far too often. So we were just asking them to track it. That bill got defeated, didn't go anywhere.
Why?
But
what would make these lawmakers opt out of that bill? Is there something in there that they didn't want to see?
Excuse? Do we need to hear their feeble fucking excuse, Darren, as to why they decried this?
Yeah,
right?
I want to hear that.
Pieces of shit. Well, it wasn't because we're evil pieces of shit.
Yes. Well, there is that part. Correct.
The excuse we heard was it would cost us too much to incorporate that tracking.
Yeah, we can't do that. No, that's impossible, Darren.
Expensive.
What's wrong with you? Are you an expert, Darren? Do you have a scientific degree? Shut up.
The value of one child is not worth our time or the money that we have to spend in this.
Yes, now you get it. You get it. Well done.
All right.
Well,
sorry about that. Sorry about that, Mr. Ram. I didn't mean to bust in on you there.
No, that's okay. So here's the beautiful thing about that. We're working at the federal level to introduce legislation that will tie to 4B, I think it is, 4B funds that they provide that information. So that would apply not just to Virginia, but to every state. Now, that's in the opening stages of that. But basically, we're working it at the state level to show, that this data is beneficial, but we're also working it at the federal level so that if the states keep balking, saying, oh, we can't possibly do that, it'd be too expensive, it'd be too much work, whatever, then the federal government can say, well, if you want your federal dollars, you're going to give us that data because we want to know where the children are and what the outcomes are.
Yes.
So
we, the people, have a right to that information. We, the people, have a right to know. You don't have any right to seize children and do whatever you want with them behind our backs without accountability. Fuck that all day, and no way.
So remember I showed you where our area is 33% higher than the rest of the area, but they wanted raises.
Right.
Well, one of the girls that has a channel with us actually works for RFK. And last night, before I even talked to her, she denied their raises here in Virginia yesterday. And she said their whole presentation was a joke. She said, no, you're not getting a raise. Absolutely not. You're not getting a raise for, you're not getting federal money for a raise. You're not getting it.
Wow.
Oh, go ahead. I just wanted to tell you that.
No, that's good. That's that's good to know. I mean, the federal government is spending a lot of money that's supposed to be to keep families together and to protect children. And I do recognize that sometimes the way you have to protect a child is to remove them. I get that. There are abusers out there. Okay, but But the Supreme Court made really clear in a 1979 ruling, is a quote that I live by. I love this quote. They said, the statist notion that governmental power should supersede parental authority in all cases because some parents abuse and neglect children is repugnant to American tradition.
Well said.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been meditating, as it were, on this quote for years. And so a couple of the finer points of it really jump out at me. I love, for instance, that they said that governmental power supersedes parental authority. Like the authority is with the parents. The government is powerful, but they do not have authority
Well said.
over fit and loving parents. So
that's incredibly key
I
right
love
there,
that
what
quote.
you said. Power and authority. Authority is not the same as power. A person can come up to you on the street, shove a gun in your face, and say, give me your damn money. And they have power over you, but they do not have authority. And everyone in America needs to remember that word, authority. And everyone that comes against you, lawful jujitsu 101. What authority do you have? Show me your lawful authority or admit you don't have it. And every time I have appeared with Darren, every single last time, I have corrected him and everyone else, even though God help me, he had his child stolen from him. I say, do not use the word stolen. Your child was fucking kidnapped by agents who claimed authority they did not have. Prove me wrong.
So when we use, because I gave you the 154 cases that we've been using, we actually need to update that. But I have parents that tell me, well, they say the Supreme Court rulings don't rule my courtrooms, or the Constitution doesn't apply. So I'm like, that's a problem, because the Supreme Court hands down rulings for the lower courts to follow. And the Constitution,
every single American, every single law-abiding American needs to memorize this. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. You know this. You weed out 90% of the tyrants and their agents. 90%. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. All laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. That is the truth. So help me God. Prove me wrong or admit I'm right.
So now you don't know the judges here like I do. Okay. They won't hear cases with my name on it because I've already told them I'm going to sue all of them because they're in violation of my rights. So how does somebody that's not me or the angry citizen or Darren, because we all have the backbones, how do we help parents
We're doing it right now. This is what we do. We tell them, they hear our voices, they hear our words, they learn to use our words to protect themselves. Everyone starts using the words. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. And you're going to see 50% of the tyrants and their agents fold at that moment.
I hope so.
Because otherwise they have to defy it. What do? They don't know what to do. Our overlords didn't tell us what to do when people say, oh no, I know my rights, and here they are, right? What do?
So
learn your rights. Know
Mike,
your rights.
what's your thoughts on this, Mike? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, first, I got to be responsible and just say up front, I'm not a lawyer, because some folks recognize, I'm president of this organization. Surely, we do legal stuff, so I might be a lawyer. So I'm not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice. I need to make that really clear. But my understanding, I mean, you're right. The Constitution is the supreme law, period. But one thing too that you're invoking there, when you start quoting the Constitution and quoting the constitutional rights, in the courts, we have this tradition. It's recognized as qualified immunity. And that's where if an agent, a police officer, a social worker, somebody, sorry, I'm hearing an echo of myself.
Yeah, Darren, we're echoing. We're echoing.
Okay, sorry.
Fix your shit, Darren. Fix your shit, dude.
So if they are operating under the color of law, if they're operating under orders, if they're doing what they understand is correct, then they have qualified immunity. So if you're citing to them the Constitution, the laws, they can no longer claim ignorance, and that qualified immunity goes out the window.
Darren, we are echoing. We are echoing.
Echo. Fix your
Let's see
shit.
who gets the echo. Who's got the echo? Because I'm gonna mute me out. So see if the echo still exists.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, it was you.
Michael.
Yeah, I think the echo's gone.
Roger.
Okay.
Go ahead, Michael.
So I was just saying that they depend on qualified immunity, right? That they're protected as long as they're operating under color of law, following instructions, or they can say, well, I didn't know any different, I didn't know any better. So when you start quoting to them the Constitution and your rights and so on, that gives them pause, because their argument that, well, I didn't know any better goes out the window.
Yes.
They should have known, because you told them, here's the Constitution, here are the rights that you're violating. And again, that's not legal advice, but that is my understanding of qualified immunity. At least it's dependent on a level of ignorance that they really can't claim if you're properly.
I agree with everything you said, and well done qualifying very carefully that you're not a lawyer. And I want to say this: I'm not going to use the word lawyer. I'm not going to say I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to say I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice, lawful advice. I don't get paid for that. But I know the law. I am a constitutional American. And a moment ago, you said something very key, very vital. You talked about color of law. And let's talk about this. It means if an agent of the government or an agent of law enforcement, a police officer, even a sheriff's deputy, or even a lawfully elected sheriff comes to you as a constitutional American and deprives you of your life, liberty, or property without due process, they are acting under color of law. So help me God, this is true. That is a felony. They have what is called, thank you, Michael, for pointing this out, qualified immunity. What this means is if a person is employed as a police officer and they are doing their duty as a police officer, and let's say they take out their gun and they shoot someone, right? And you want to be like suing them personally, you can't do that as long as they were acting lawfully as a agent, as a lawfully authorized deputy, as any person who's lawfully authorized to do this thing. They didn't just whip out their gun and shoot people at a disco, right? They have qualified immunity. It is necessary, because if we did not have this, no one would ever want to be a law enforcement officer. On behalf of all my law enforcement officer friends, I say this to you, and all lawfully elected sheriffs and deputies. But if they act outside that, they have acted as a person choosing to commit a crime. They're not protected. They're the same as the rest of us. If you want to murder someone, you don't get to put on a uniform, murder someone, and then claim I have immunity because I have a badge on. Your lawful immunity, qualified immunity, ends, and you are acting under color of law. Look this up. SEC 242, Section 6, I believe it is. Quote me if I'm wrong. Correct me. Anyone watching, correct me. Okay? Acting under color of law. Deprivation of rights under color of law. And as Americans, we need to come together and unify on this. They do not have any authority to deprive you of your life, liberty, or property, claiming they're enforcing a law when they don't have that law on their side. And all laws that are repugnant to the Constitution literally don't exist. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Prove me wrong.
So let me tell you what I did here in Winchester. I got into it with the child support agency because they hit my account and I don't even owe child support. So I called them
Wow.
and they said, "Oh, we're not giving you your money back because your husband's name's on the account." Needless to say, I cussed everybody out. I went to court. I went down to the courthouse.
Needless to say,
They
you
said,
cussed everyone out.
"Yeah, I did." She said, "Well,
I
you
know you
can't."
did. We all know
Yeah,
you did, Tiff.
because your name, you're not the person supposed to be paying. I said, "You see this right here? This is Tiffany Wise from the Division of Child Support Enforcement." She's like, "Hold on, let me go check with the clerk." So the big clerk came out and was like, "Pfft, they put her name on it, put her on the docket." So I went to court and I have constitutional law books. I'm photocopying them, right? Because I'm not taking all these books with me. And the one that I photocopied, the best one I photocopied, said the same thing you did, which I already knew. You cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or
Liberty
property
or
without due
property without
process.
due process. Amen, sister. Amen. Memorize that, America.
Right.
Fucking memorize that. Say it to the cop. Look the fucking cop in the eye. Look the cop in the eye and say, "Are you a constitutional peace officer? Did
Well, wait a minute.
you swear an oath?"
Wait a
And if
minute.
he says
Sure.
yes,
Wait.
look
Hold
him in
on,
the eye
your
and say,
system.
"What was the oath you swore? Did you swear an oath? What was the oath?"
So I go to court. And first of all, they didn't serve me until after they put the lien on it. So that was a violation of my 14th Amendment. So the
Yep.
judge said, "Well, Miss Williams, do you have anything to say?" I said, "Actually, I do. I have a real problem with people sidestepping the 14th Amendment." So I'm holding up the paper as I'm reading it to him. And this dude rolled his eyes at me and said,
Yep.
"Thank you, Miss West, for teaching me the law."
Oh,
I said, "Oh, you're one of those." I said,
oh,
"Okay."
smug prick.
Oh,
Smug
yeah.
prick. Yep.
So then I'm like, they didn't even serve me until after they placed the lien on me, and I'm not even the person that's supposed to pay. He said, "Well, at least you got served." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "You
Yeah,
know what?"
we know they're corrupt. We know
Right.
they're corrupt.
So here I
Yep.
go. Oh, I made him so mad. He threw my petition up in his hand. He's like, "I'm denying your whole petition." I looked at him and I said, "That's great. That's what I needed you to do." I jumped up and I said, "Child support, I'll see you in
Yep.
federal court." Now everybody's demeanor changes now,
I
right?
mean, we all
"Oh
know
no,
that
Miss Wise.
our
Oh no, no, no. Come back here. We're not done. I won."
we all know that our court system is wildly corrupt. It's probably the most uh, daunting challenge that we the people face is fixing this corrupt court system. It's so bad. It's so heinous. But we have to fix it. We have to hold them accountable. Impeachment is our most valuable ally there, and it's a pain in the ass, and it takes energy and effort. But you know, I mean, here we are. All of us who are here right now on this podcast are, putting ourselves out, and we're gonna do what we have to do to hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Ramey, what else are you guys working on?
So this month, it's August, and that means that in Congress it's the August recess. So there's not a lot going on in D.C. as far as Congress goes. All the congressmen are back home. I'm talking U.S. representatives and U.S. senators. They're all back home in their home district offices. Now, our focus right now is the Parental Rights Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It would just say that parental rights are a fundamental right. It would demand that
Agreed.
courts recognize and apply strict judicial scrutiny to anything that would infringe on parental rights. It safeguards parental rights in education, particularly in choosing the form of education that your children will have, and it preserves specifically the parental rights for regardless of disability. Um, you can see it there on the website. It's parentalrights.org is the website for the Parental Rights Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And we're planning to introduce this in Congress again this September, right after the August recess. So what we're doing is we're encouraging people during August recess to set up a meeting with your congressman, with your congressman while they are there in the home district. We don't have a lead sponsor in the Senate yet, so I don't really have a good action item for you as far as the Senate goes. But in the U.S. House, reach out to your congressman, go to their district office. You don't have to travel to D.C. to see them. That's why they're there. That's what August recess is all about. Sit down with them, encourage them that parental rights are important, that preserving the role of parents in the life of their children is important to children, and we can preserve that right in the Constitution for this generation and for generations to come. We're not asking some tremendous super high standard. We're asking the standard that the Supreme Court has routinely stood by since 1923's Meyer versus Nebraska decision. And over again, they've said parents have a fundamental right to direct the upbringing, education, and care of their children. We want to incorporate that right into the text so it can't be changed. Passing that will also just re-emphasize for the states and for those state actors who are violating it that no, this is serious now. This matters today. Put it into the text of the Constitution. So our big action item is to, and you can find our activist toolkit at parentalrightsfoundation.org. Which includes a one-pager you can download and take with you. Reach out to your congressman, go sit down and talk to them in their office this month while they're home at August recess. Give them that paper, tell them about the Parental Rights Amendment, and urge them to contact Representative Mary Miller of Illinois, who's going to be the lead sponsor, and ask her to sign them up as an original co-sponsor on the Parental Rights Amendment coming this September.
Representative Mary Miller. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure you put that on our website, Darren.
Where's your toolkit on here?
That's on the Parental Rights Foundation website.
Yeah.
So
I'm here right now. Share this.
Yeah, let me see.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I got it in front of me.
So.
Well done. I just want to say well done.
Now, do I find it in here somewhere?
Very welcome. I'm right with you. I'm going to promote your cause. I want you to reach out to me after the podcast, and we'll talk about doing a live stream together as well to amplify your voice. Thank you for what you're doing. I think 99% of America is behind you on this. I truly believe that.
Well, you would think that they should be. You know, that's the problem in this stuff.
Okay, so you know what? X% is behind you. The other ones are morons.
Correct.
Well, I'll
you
tell
and
you
I swim in an ocean of morons every day, Darren. We've talked about this many times, but that's the curse. Meanwhile, we appeal to the people who, like us, see the value in this message and want to unite on this.
Hey, Darren, I've put the link there in the private chat here.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's parentalrightsfoundation.org/the advocacy toolkit is here, and that is separated by dashes rather than spaces. The -advocacy-toolkit-is-here.
All right, we're in the right spot now, right? There we go.
Yes, and then if you scroll down on that page, you
Yep. Down here, sir.
The Parental Rights Amendment one-pager is linked there, and that page itself lays out just how to do it, and you can grab those downloadables as well.
These are all the downloads right here. Oh yeah, download into the toolkit to prepare to meet with members of Congress. Excellent.
Yes.
So these are all. And what was her name again? It was Mary Miller. Who was she again? Sorry about that.
Mary Miller, and she is Congresswoman from Illinois.
Okay. Congresswoman.
So we need to reach out to this woman, Mary Miller, and send her a letter of support. Okay, imagine the power of 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million people reaching out and saying to her, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for having strength and courage. Right?
Well, what's great is that so Tiff and I enacted, I believe it was Monday, because we got the forum up now, as after all of the talking amongst people, is that I've asked our listeners to draft up a letter to send to any politician, any person that is involved with any sort of any business that has to do with CPS or whatever, but to draft up some sort of a letter. And I've left it to our listeners and our family. You know, like they're not just our listeners. I hate to say that. I feel like I'm degrading them in some way.
It's all right.
But the people that are supporters and all of that, I've asked them to come into the forum and help draft this letter. And I know that a lot of these people have started and they began to write this letter. Now, this is something that we can add to that, or we can add to that. But I definitely want to put this up so that we can make sure that everybody that comes through definitely.
I mean, you're on the right page, Darren. That that's what I've been saying. That's literally the foundation of my whole Angry Citizen initiative. Is that all of us are pissed off about this? Who isn't? Who thinks this is okay? And we know there are people out there who think it's okay, right? But they're like 1% or 0.5% or 0.1%, and they're just loud and obnoxious, right? Most of us agree. Most of us don't want this bullshit. And most of us see through it. And most of us, if we got our voices together, would have our way made whole. We would say, no, the hell with your stupid madness. We, the people, tell you this is what we want, and you will do what we want because we are your bosses. They work for us, right?
This is the truth.
We actually did a poll, I think it's about 3 years ago now, and more than 80% of Americans, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever, more than 80% of Americans agree with the fundamental right of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and care of their children without government interfering. So it reaches across the aisle. It reaches all the way across, the whole political spectrum pretty much. We all agree on this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And the other 20% moved to China, right?
Well, China might be too good to them.
I don't know if I sent you. Have you been following the ADA? And they're trying to end TPRs, and they're trying to work on all this. If I haven't, I will email it to you. They're going to start their seminars again in September. But they really are, because they say that everything that we've already known. When you TPR a parent, the child loses everything, and so does the parent. They have nothing, right? And this is what I say all the time. I'm so worried about this, right? Like, I mean, we have kids out here, and I've heard a lot of stories about kids that were in foster care, TPR'd from their parents, and then they grew up and they married each other. I mean, come on. Or what if that child has medical stuff, right? Now you can't find the family because the courts have TPR'd them. The family's moved on. This kid's sick. I mean, these are problems. And they don't care about that. I think that's what irritates me.
I think that we all agree that parental rights are paramount. Like, no one I've met agrees that the government has the knowledge and wisdom and authority and mechanisms to safeguard the children that are supposedly being abused. And in Maine, we have a conspicuous, glaring record of failure on that task. Who were the 2 children that were literally beaten to death by their so-called parents here in Maine? Okay, one was in Stockton Springs, I think. And so-called CPS knew about they had allegations and complaints of abuse. They didn't intervene, but yet somehow they have time to go steal Darren's child, kidnap Darren's child.
They put that in there for their day.
Somehow that got into their schedule.
Right.
And these people, someone Google this if you're viewers watching this. Okay, who are the 2 children that were literally beaten to death? To death. God help them. And CPS was nowhere there. Nowhere. They failed at their job. They aren't doing the job they claim to be doing, and still somehow have find time in their busy schedule to kidnap Darren's child and put his child up for adoption with their bogus claims.
Yep.
I am outraged by this. All of us should be. Parental rights are paramount. And I'm telling you all this right now. God is my witness. Hear me. My children are my children. If you come between me and them, I will defy you with every ounce of energy and enthusiasm and dedication I have available to me. I am their father. You will not kidnap my child in front of me while I watch. Never, unto my dying day.
Right before we came on, my husband was watching something on YouTube, right? And this happened in Baltimore 11 days ago. The police pulled this chick over and there was a smell coming from her car. So she's like taking her time because they're like,
I
no, we
saw
need to
this. I
search the
saw this.
car.
I saw that. I saw this. This was so terrible. Oh my God, I
He's
saw
talking
this.
about the two babies in the
Yeah, I
trunk.
saw that. Oh, I saw it on I saw it on a YouTube thing. But yeah, I saw
And,
it. Yeah,
and find out CPS had the 8-month-old sibling in custody, but left the other two.
yeah, and she
And
was
they're
lying.
dead.
She was lying to her sister or whoever it was, right? The kids saying that the kids were still
This
fine
is
or whatever.
This
And
is why we need Mr. Ramsey's bill to go through. Because had CPS been mandated to find out about these children in kinship, those two babies would be alive right now. 5 and 7.
well, we know about a lot of death, but let's go back to terminating of the parental rights for a minute. What
Oh,
is
go ahead.
what is it with your organization, Mr. Amy? What are you guys
Yeah.
doing to stop protecting? What are you guys doing?
Well, so
Good
Tiff
question.
mentioned already the ABA NTPR initiative. We work with them. There was a pair of cases out of Michigan last year. It was before the Michigan Supreme Court, and Michigan moved to terminate parental rights. And in both situations, it's true the parents had issues, they had problems, they weren't able to take care of their kids. But in each case, they had made appropriate arrangements, truly voluntary arrangements. One was a dad. He'd been injured a long time ago on the job. Had issues with addiction to pain medicine, so he lived with his mom. She took care of the kids. He was there, but did not have to be the responsible party. So his kids were safe. And the state said, no, we're going to terminate your parental rights and take those kids out of that home. The other case was similar, so I'll save time and not go through all the details on that one. But it was similar, and the Supreme Court put them both together. And some of the ABA folks who work on this NTPR initiative, they filed amicus briefs. We also filed an amicus brief with the court, urged them to look at a standard that came out of the Alabama Supreme Court. And it said basically this, which to me makes a lot of sense. It said, look, if parental rights are fundamental rights, and if that requires strict judicial scrutiny, that means that it has to be by the least restrictive means, right? So then TPR should be a last resort. If there's anything you can do to keep the kids safe without terminating parental rights, you need to do it. That's applying strict scrutiny to the termination of parental rights. So that was our argument. Now, the Supreme Court decided, after taking all these briefs and everything, they decided they weren't going to touch it after all. They'd leave it for, they kicked that down the road, leave it for somebody else. And so in both of those families, those kids lost their families and were taken by the state. Very frustrating. But the good news is, folks on both sides of the aisle, from all across this discipline of family defense, are weighing in, getting our voices out there in front of these courts. And so other courts are going to read that. They're going to see that. And unfortunately, they'll see that the Michigan Supreme Court went out, but they'll also see the stuff that we gave them, and solid legal arguments saying, look, it needs to be last resort. If you can avoid it, then do something else. That's less restrictive means than this.
That was key. Thank you.
You said earlier you were talking about New York and Texas had come up with that they were following suit with what you guys were saying about the anonymous call-ins, right?
Yes.
Well, but that means in general, right? Because there are other states right now that they use that in their appeals, right? In the appeal process, you can, like Pennsylvania is one of them. I believe that they somehow, can you correct me on this, please? So I'm saying it right, because I know that Pennsylvania also has, because I was just reading an article earlier today with Jen Brabson, actually, that said that in 2005, I think it was maybe-ish, somewhere in there, but they were able to overturn 98% of their of the appeals because of it's a case LV, the case of LV something. But they were able to turn it overnight. But that was about the anonymous. Pennsylvania also enacted the anonymous, that they have to have a higher standard. It just can't be an anonymous thing to come in and actually search someone's house or seek out their kids. They actually have to go inside and search them with a warrant. They can't just take it by an anonymous phone call. That's what that case was about. With you guys, what are you saying when you're saying the anonymous phone calls? Are you just saying anonymous phone calls in general?
Yeah. I mean, so often what happens is there's an ugly divorce or whatever it is, or the neighbor just doesn't get along. And so they call in a report they know is false. So nationally, 5 out of every 6 investigations that's open gets closed as unfounded or unsubstantiated. 5 out of 6, that's like 83%. But when you look at just those that were initiated from an anonymous tip, the number that are false goes up to something like 94%.
Yeah.
It's almost all of them are false or come back at least unfounded or unsubstantiated. And a lot of them we suspect are just knowingly false.
Punitive.
But all we can say is we suspect because they're not keeping track. They're not tracking who's calling. They don't have the names. And that's what this law is about correcting, is so that the system will have the name and can start to track that and know who's making these fake calls. And honestly, a lot of folks, the first time their name is asked for is the last time they call. They don't want to give their name. They know they're lying. They know it's fake. They don't want to go on record with that. So it's just the problem goes away.
Right.
So what if they do call and they use a bogus name? Are their phone numbers going to be in the system?
They have to give their identifying information. So they have to give a name,
but they could
address,
lie.
phone number. It depends. They could. That would be a violation of the law.
Right, but people do violate the law. I may or may not have done that 2 times in my life. So, but what I'm saying is, with respect to your point, I could call anyone I want anytime and say, "This is Bob F. Smith from Okefenokee Swamp, Mississippi, calling to complain about this Tiff woman. She's dangerous and punitive, and I think she's a terrorist. You should storm her house. She threatened to kill me and my kids. She's a terrorist."
Yeah, the law, I mean, and this is true of any law, can only go so far. But this is definitely an improvement over the state just saying, "Oh, you don't need to tell me who you are. Just, tell me your report and we'll jump right on it." So
I agree. And yeah, just to be clear, I was not decrying that, the improvement in this process is bad. It is good.
Right. Yes.
And I have long ago surrendered my anonymity. Believe me, I deal with people online in many capacities, in person in many capacities. And long ago, I realized that I can't do what I need to do being anonymous. If anyone wants to track me down and dox me, it would not take long to do it. But I am a constitutional American. I'm angry as hell at seeing all the injustices I see going on, including people having their children kidnapped from them by agents. Agents do not have authority to kidnap your child. They do not have authority to show up at your doorstep and demand answers to any question they ask. The only time you have any occasion to be submissive to the law is if a law enforcement authority, duly authorized sheriff or deputy, arrests you for a crime. Only then. And that is where I stand as a constitutional American. The entire process of kidnapping children from parents is heinous, evil, repugnant, vile. I decry it. I stand, I will die on this fucking hill as a father of 5 and a grandfather of 2 beautiful granddaughters. I will tell you, if you try to remove me from them or them from me, you will be met with force.
Hey, Evelyn says that they're going to be talking about this on the 28th, I guess, on the Capitol. Do you know anything about this, Mike? HB 1100 and HB 1146. Do you know anything about those bills?
No, I don't. Is that Virginia?
You know what? I don't know.
Because I think the Virginia legislature is done for the year, so I'm not sure.
I feel like I've heard of this HB 1100 and I'll look into that.
Any viewers want to throw in if you can check that for us?
Mhm.
What are we talking about? Or clarify, Evelyn?
So are you guys talking to the police departments too and telling them that their job is not to show up at civil disputes with CPS as their bodyguards? Because we really need to have that talk.
That's a good talk.
That is a good talk, right?
Well,
Because they
we're
use them
getting
for
into
intimidation.
Yeah, no, we're getting into the bleeding in of agents versus law enforcement. Okay, CPS agents are agents. Okay, just like in the Matrix. Okay, we refer to them as they are. They're agents or special agents. They love to call themselves special agents. The only duly authorized law enforcement authorities in any particular zone in the United States are sheriffs, and they're duly authorized and sworn in deputies. Okay, I openly decry everyone else. And you're
Okay,
gonna have to prove me
so
wrong. That's a whole different podcast, but that's where I stand on that. So
right.
agents, when they show up, CPS agents, you start out with, who the hell are you? Agent so and so. What does that mean? Ask them. What does that mean? Agent, what agent of what? What's your agency? Who gave you authority? You have no authority over me. I don't owe you any explanations. I don't owe you a description of my home. I don't owe you a tour of my home. I don't care if you're escorted by law enforcement.
So Dana, how do we stop Frederick County Sheriff's Department from showing up as CPS's bodyguards? Because
You can't stop any law enforcement authority that wants to participate in any activity is going to do it. We cannot stop them. All we can do is hold them accountable, record it, document it, send them letters, send them affidavits. America, hear me on this. The affidavit is our most powerful tool, a sworn statement of fact made under penalty of perjury. And when you send that, believe me when I tell you, people will wake the fuck up and pay attention, because they know you mean business and you're not fucking around, and you know what the hell you're doing. Affidavits. So
well, I
half
told
the
you they pick
time,
straws when they come here. They pick straws. Who's got to come deal with the big mouth blonde bitch on the corner?
because you know your rights and you set them straight. Most people submit, right? Don't they? I've had people on Facebook tell me, when a law enforcement officer tells me to jump, I say, how high? I say, okay, me personally, my response is, who the hell are you? Who are you? And be able to tell them who you are. I am a God-fearing, lawful, constitutional American, a living, breathing son of God. And when you are confident in that, it backs off half of them. And when you can state to them articulately your rights and the Constitution, you back off another half of them. See?
That must be
Know
Gabe.
your rights.
I think Evelyn was referring to Gabe Woolley's stuff.
Yeah, I think she said that it's gonna pass. I think that's what I saw in the thing, that he's finally getting it passed. Well, that would be good for Oklahoma. Now we just need it everywhere.
So, Mr. Ramey, at the end of the day, what is your message that your organization is pushing for everybody to get on board with? Like, what is the overall 100%? This is, if they take anything away from what you've talked about tonight at our seminar the other day, any of that stuff, what is the overall piece of information that you want people to grab onto and to succulate to?
Take away.
Yeah, our motto is just a few simple words: protecting children by empowering parents. The thing that folks all across the aisle believe in and agree with is that the government makes really sucky parents. Parents are the best way to take care of their children. The government is not good at very many things. One of the things it's worst at is parenting children. Let the parents do that. So we're about educating and passing good laws and passing constitutional amendment and everything we can do to empower parents so that they can protect their children.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Thank you.
Slamming.
And Darren, put his website in our on our website too, because everybody now, thank God that Mr. Ramey said that they filter out all the emails, because I know mine would have been in there like 1,000 times, but I didn't clutter it up. But everybody needs to subscribe, because I just got one today that said it's not too late. So yes, everybody needs to go to their websites, both of
I'll
them.
get it up there. I'll put the link right on the second main page.
Dana,
Right in there.
his email address is in the website.
Yeah,
If you
I got
can
that.
find it, I'll
Thank
send
you.
it to you.
Yeah.
Think about, folks. Think about if, like, how many people in America disagree with what this man is saying. I want a number. If I could get the number, if I could use an AI or God Himself to tell me the number.
74.
Right. So, why are we debating this point? What the hell is wrong with us that we would let agents, use the correct terms, folks. Don't use the devil's terms. Don't use his words. Use the words that are truth. They're agents. They are kidnapping. Stop saying they're taking. They're not fucking taking. They are kidnapping. Kidnapping these children, claiming authority they don't have. Authority they don't have. We must all decry it. Speak out loudly. Never assume that the person whose child is being kidnapped deserves it, because they're a scum-sucking sack of shit. Make them prove it. You are innocent until proven guilty. And all of us have to stand on this, because how many children have been kidnapped from loving parents without proper cause? If it's more than 0, I oppose. I've never had a child yet kidnapped from me by state agents. But let me tell you something. I stand right with Darren. I stand right with Tiffany, because their children are mine. Their rights are mine. If it can be done to them, it can be done to me. It doesn't matter if you like them or not. Stop worrying about whether they're one of those right-wing, left-wing, upper middle, lower class Muslim,
leave the class out of
Christian
it.
Scientologists.
Leave them out.
Right?
We are all in the same boat. That's right.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ramey.
Thank you, Mr. Ramey, very much. We'll be in touch for sure. Everybody else, me and Tiff, that's the surprise day tomorrow. Dana will be back with us next Thursday. But that's for tonight. We're out of here, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
There's an angry citizen. His voice is getting loud. He's been shaking up the people, and he's gonna shake the ground. He says, wake up now, people. Look what they're doing to our town. We gotta wake up now, people. Look what they're doing to our town. So he's